Sorry, I almost forgot to talk about the whole reason why I turned the camera on in the first place.
Hello and welcome. My name is Diet and thank you for watching my video. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. Let me show you what I was working on in September.
Currently, I'm only halfway through this project, the sculpting portion of this project, and I got halfway through it and I took a break, and my brain just kind of had so many things on the go that I wanted to do that if I don't do some way of like dumping that out, that information out into something that's tangible, then it keeps occupying space in my brain where I can't 100% focus on what I'm doing or even have the motivation to do what I'm working on. It's pulling me in different directions. It's like my hands aren't moving fast enough to execute the ideas that I have in my head.
I had fun with this kaleidoscope, can you tell? Okay, moving on. Why this video? I'm currently working on my portfolio and wanted to share what the beginning of that process looks like. The voiceover in this next segment covers several topics, including art goals, project parking, vlogging, social media balancing work, and artist branding. The art and designs I'm working on are for my YouTube banner. My 7 artistic goals: document the process, tailor overall career to include art, build a body of work, find an audience interested in my work, to interact and learn from a community, produce quality artwork, and share the journey.
I want to document the process of trying to get my art in a state where I can start generating an income from it. It is what I want to do. It's always the career path that I wanted for myself. It's a combination of skill and luck, and I haven't had the opportunity to take that risk or have that time to start doing that, and now I do. I wanted to see if I would be able to tailor my career to incorporate art a little bit more. Right now, I'm documenting my process because that's all of the content that I have to share. I'm about to build a body of work, and I want to get into the habit of working with the cameras and the lighting so that I already have that practice in. So my hope is that you might find this journey interesting, that maybe you have something that you've wanted to pursue, whether it be a hobby or whatnot, and are also curious about, maybe the steps that might work for you. I'm also interested in anybody's feedback. The reality is that I'm probably at least a year away from making any sort of income off of my art. I need to have a body of work first, and I need to put in some real thought, real effort, real work into creating pieces. So that is my goal for next year, for 2022. This year was just to get things rolling, to figure out materials, to just lay the groundwork for really honing in and starting to follow a path for a body of work. I'm only partway through sculpting this tree sculpture, and I've gone ahead and I started working on some other projects that I've had sitting in the back of my head. I think I wanted to reach out a little bit and maybe ask you if you've ever experienced sort of the same issue that I'm having, where I start a project and I just deviate from it and move on to something else. There's so much I see online where a project is just from start to finish without these interruptions or sidetracking moments, and I think it's important to also show that, because it is part of the process of creating a piece of art as well, because you need to step back from it. You can tell the difference, at least I can tell the difference in my own art, if I've stepped back from it at any point during, because you usually go in and you correct or you change things or you make alterations to it, and if you don't take that step back, you're too close to it that you can't see what's wrong with it. And whether that means just physically stepping back or letting it sit. The problem that I have is picking it back up again. I find that I procrastinate because maybe I think it over too much. So maybe that's the drawback to not working linear. It's in that you're trying to find that motivation to get yourself working again. And I think maybe that's something I should clarify, is that even though it may appear that I've abandoned these projects, I think that mentally I'm just parking it for now. It makes it difficult for editing these videos. Okay, so this was the other thing that I've been thinking, is whether to treat these videos as more of a vlog style, so that it's just me working at the pace that I work and not having that pressure of completing, when that's not how I work. It's not true to how I work. So maybe the better idea is to just create these videos as a vlog style, and then afterwards go and create collectively maybe a workshop video where I go through the tree sculpture from start to finish. I don't know. I'm still thinking about figuring all that out. I think that's what I want to do, is just treat this more as a vlog. There are other areas that I need to work on, like my online portfolio, like things like my YouTube banner and getting my social media sort of all figured out and lined up. I had a Twitter account which was hacked, and so I never really used it anyways, other than for dev purposes. So I don't know if I'm gonna reconnect that. I don't know if that's really where, I mean, it feels disingenuous just to use that for pushing what I'm doing right now, especially at this stage. Maybe that's something that I'll think about further down the road. I already have a Facebook art page that I created a long time ago. Gosh, I haven't used it in probably 2 years. So considering that it's been left unused and that it's still getting views, so I want to update that to what I'm doing now. I need to update my artist's bio. I need to, work on a art CV, which I mean, I have my other CV, which is what I use to get my dev work, my programming jobs, but that's tailored for that. And I want to create specifically for my art credentials, which I don't have much of other than, what I did in school and maybe some work that I had from high school. But it's something, so I need to get that area of my website straightened out as well. It's dated, it's old, I haven't updated it since I created it, and that's pretty sad considering that's, what I do for a living. So one of the things that was really bothering me, or that's been on my brain, is that I don't have my YouTube banner up yet, and I wanted to create something for that. I didn't know if I wanted to just take some images of the work that I've done or the YouTube videos that I put up, or if I want to maybe create something entirely new. I threw around a few ideas, I sketched some ideas, and then I finally decided to make it super simple and just create like a mini quick self-portrait sketchy. I don't know if it's a sketch or it's more like an ink drawing, but I used watercolor, so it's similar to some of my other ink work that I've done, or at least a similar style. It was really important that I started to think about what I want to do for my banner, for my header. This particular header I want to use for both my YouTube channel and my Facebook artist page that I have, as well as my own website, so that I can keep consistent branding for myself. I'm thinking what I'm going to do is some sort of seal, because I think that would be quite neat, like a wax seal, or like when you send a letter and you stamp into the wax, to have a stamp that has my initials on it. I think that would be kind of cool, because I'd love to have that sort of personal touch on things. That's a good idea. That's a good idea, man. As you can tell, I haven't got it all figured out. I'm still humming and hawing over it, but for now, this is what I've done. This is what I've uploaded. I think that the video that I took only showed the first iteration I did of this. After looking at it on my mobile phone, the text was way too small to be readable. So I ended up having, sorry, there's a fly that's bothering me. It keeps buzzing around. What was I saying? So there's a, what was I saying? Oh my god, I really got distracted by that fly. What was I saying? The other thing that I've been doing too is sort of rearranging my house so that it works more for an art studio for me. In that process, that means I kind of have to go through essentially every inch of the house and give it a good scrub. I've just been shifting around boxes and shifting around things that I'm like, I'll get to that later, or one day when I have time I'll do this or I'll do that, and those projects kind of get shifted to storage. So I'm trying to organize a lot of that now that I'm taking art more as a priority. I can bring some of those art projects more to the forefront, or at least not so buried in the closet. I think in another video I'll go through some of what I'm doing there, because I do want to paint one of my rooms upstairs and turn it into a smaller studio. Right, so the other thing too is that my hours picked up at work, and so that's been a bonus. On the back of that, I've also got some additional side projects that I've been working on that I need to get done. But that also has meant that I haven't been able to do as much with the art as I have been over the last couple of months. So this is the problem when I speak to the camera and not have a script printed out. It takes extra long in editing for me to cut out the stuff that I don't want to say, because my thoughts constantly trail in different directions, and then I come back around to it, and it's hard to piece all that together. But hopefully I can come up with something that's consistent and seems good. I think that I'm going to wrap this up. It's been great hanging out and sort of explaining, what I've been up to the past couple of days. I think it's been more like 9 or 10 days since I've actually sculpted, but I have been doing these other things. So please join me next time, where the plan is to finish filming the sculpting of the tree sculpture that I was working on previously.
While I really like this design, it doesn't work well as its intended purpose, so I've put this on the back burner to maybe use for something else. Instead, I've uploaded something different as my temporary banner. Let me know if you're interested in seeing any of the work in this video broken down into something more in depth. More importantly though, let me know what your interests are in the comments section below. I hope you found some interest in my video for September. My plan for the next video is to show you what I'm working on currently for my artist portfolio. See you next time. Thanks for watching.
Holy smokes, this is gonna be a bitch to fucking edit.